Everybody, tonight we can ignore them no longer. After years of leaving them out of our conference preview series, no, it's our first ever Ivy League preview. That's right, Mike joins me right now to bring you all the best information on the Ivy League and what to expect for the upcoming season. Recording live from somewhere. This is One and Done.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that One and Done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball información. We're powered by the galaxy's greatest website. That's drroto.com. I'm your sometimes humble host. My name is Jay Heinrich. Find me on X right there at Dr. William Cannon. If you don't know, now you know. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train. Follow me right there. Follow the show at One and Done CBB. But do yourself a favor and follow this man too. He is at MC Holland 34 on Twitter. And around these parts, he's known as El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship, the OG Money Mike. Mr. Mike Holland. Mike, what it do? It's Ivy League night.
All right, man. I guess we're gonna have to break out the math. I know we say we don't like math here, but I think this is number 6 conference preview that we're doing. So if there's 31 conferences, we're about 20% of the way through, somewhere right around there. And it just so happens to be the Ivy League, which really the reason it's not that it hasn't been a really good league. It's just finding rosters for an Ivy League in early August has typically been one of the biggest struggles for us. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to dive in and talk some Ivy League hoops.
No doubt about it. A team, Mike, that on an annual basis is consistently in Ken Palm's rankings in strength of conference. The last 3 years, 12th, 13th, and last year, 14th of the 31 conferences in strength of conference. And this is a conference where last year, Yale found a way to pull away to win the regular season crown, not by 1, not by 2, not by 3, but by 4 games over Cornell. And then they played Cornell in the Ivy League tournament and squeeze out a 6-point victory, 90-84. And Yale got that 13 seed, Mike, another mid-major school here that we're going to talk about that gave a top-tier, top conference program a run for their money in the first round. Yale put up a good fight, but lost 80-71 to those fighting Texas A&M Aggies that I know you care about so much. So what are your thoughts on the Ivy League in general before we get to our world-famous tiers?
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of set it up there. I mean, the last 3 years, this league has put a scare. Really, 2 of the 3 years, if you double back to 2 years ago, they had Yale beat Auburn in Janai Broom's season with that Danny Wolf team, and then you had Princeton. Remember, Jay, when you made that pick for what's that team out west that was going to go to win the national title, and the old Princeton Tigers jumped up in there and won that game as a 15 seed. So, yeah, this is not really a conference that you want to see when the seeding comes out, because they've been scaring teams recently. Have had a pretty good history of doing so. So, look, the retention is obviously pretty strong in the Ivy League, and it has been for a long time. But lately, with the transfer portal, man, we've seen some of the big dogs kind of move away from these. From these teams here. You got Danny Wolf, as I mentioned earlier. Malik Mack went to Georgetown last year. Dana Delican left Dartmouth, and he went to Loyola Chicago a couple of years back. And then Chris Ledlam obviously went to St. John's. Jordan Dingle followed him to St. John's. Matt Alaco, we talked about him a lot during DFS, went to Notre Dame. So, yeah, some of the top talent is being plucked. But I think overall the retention is one of the best across the country. Obviously, being an Ivy League program and the education they can offer you is a huge deal. So, the thing about this conference, they play fast. They shoot a ton of threes, third in tempo, third and 3-point field goals attempted. So, this is a fun league to watch. And if they ever catch a team with a really good defense like Yale over the last couple of years, that's when it makes it a nightmare for those first-round opponents.
It's just that feel, right? Like, they're going to play high IQ basketball, and that's not a knock. Like so many times, it's like you hear that phrase being thrown around. And it's like, well, they can play some high IQ basketball, but sometimes when it comes to executing things, obviously it's a great trait to have. And the Ivy League brings that in spades for sure. And I said it in the pre-show, man. We're talking Danny Wolf. Almost, they were talking about him being a lottery pick. I remember being like, that Danny Wolf? Yeah, played in the Ivy League not too long ago, obviously. So, a pretty good conference year in and year out overall. And I'm excited to talk about them with you tonight, Mike. And, of course, with the old the liveliest live chat and all.
Got to wake them up. Got to wake them up.
Let's go. Time to get in the live chat if you're hanging out with us, and we know you are. We see you watching out there live. If you're watching on X, we appreciate you. But get over to YouTube. Do us a favor. One and Done College Basketball. Type it out. WON &DONE College Basketball. Our show's gonna pop up. Get over there and hit the subscribe button. Turn on the notification bells, because if we're previewing the Ivy League, Mike, we're doing every other conference too, right? And we've already done a handful
100.
of them. So get over to the page and check all those out after you watch the show now. And then, of course, hit that notification bell so you know every time we're previewing another conference. Hey, what about our guy, the Hall of Famer himself, CC Hustle, pushing the buttons tonight? Shout out to Nape doing his thing. And then, of course, Eric the Blue at Fantasy Nav in those Twitter streets. The best fantasy followed this side of the Mississippi. Getting you all the graphics and doing some stuff behind the scenes as always. And there, look who it is, the king of the single entry tournament, Corey, hanging out with us on the road tonight, but able to catch the Ivy League breakdown with us. Yeah, Corey's known for tuning into our DFS shows, and then we'll be kind of, not so high on a player, and he ends up being rostered at 1%. And guess who had him? Corey McDaniel, and he ends up cashing. So shout out to our guy, Corey, king of the single entry. Join him in the live chat. Won't you hop in there with him? Don't leave him lonely. He's on the road listening. You might as well hop in there with him, and we'll let him know you're hollering at him too. So good stuff, everybody. Hit those like and subscribe buttons, and let's get to the tiers, Mike. Not the same tiers that Columbia Lions fans cried last year. No, we're talking about the low, mid, and high tiers of this league. And I guess I kind of, sorry, Columbia, it is what it is. Like, did you think you were going to be not in the low tier on this show? I mean, pretty rough year, man. Like 1-13 in the conference. That'll get a coaching change done, right? So Kevin Hovde steps in to look to improve on an offense that was just okay last year. Kenny Noland and Avery Brown, the top scorers returning for the Lions. Offense was fine. It's the defense, right? The league's worst defense, and that's what gets you one conference win out of 14 games played. So unless major strides are made on that end, Columbia is likely headed for another tough year, Mike.
Yeah, and this is a tough one, because when it pops on the screen, you're thinking like, man, look what this program Princeton's done over the last handful of years. 8-6 last year. They're looking at it, you're like Xavier Lee, really good point guard. You got Caden Pierce, really good forward. Those guys will be coming back. Well, Lee hits the portal, who averaged 17 points per game, and heads out to Florida for the defending national champions are plucking players from this league. That should tell you about some of the talent that's in this league. And then, unfortunately, they late in the offseason, they had some news that break that Caden Pierce, who averaged 11.7 boards, one of the better forwards in the conference, and he's actually going to sit out the season and then transfer. So he's going to graduate. He's going to get his degree, and then he's going to probably go up to a Power 5 school. So just a significant blow to the Tigers' front court. Mitch Henderson, man, he's done such a great job for such a long time. He's been basically a model of consistency and excellence in this league. So, they're a few years removed from that magical Sweet 16 run in 2023, but it's tough to capitalize on that type of momentum, man, when you have those type of players headed out the door. But he found those players, right? So who's to say that somebody won't step up here? He's probably going to need some stability here, at least to raise the floor here, better than we think it is, from Dalen Davis. He's a returning guard. He averaged 9 points per game. You got to expect that he's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. And then Malik Abdullahi, he's a forward. He's going to be put in a much bigger role than he was probably anticipating for this year. So those guys' development, obviously, this offseason is going to be key. But for now, Jay, man, like, it's a couple of tough blows, and it's got him down here in the low tier. But it wouldn't shock me if Coach Henderson had these guys competitive night in and night out.
With a guy like Caden Pierce taking an entire season off, and then, like you said, most likely will end up on a power
Yeah.
conference roster. What sort of like that's a significant layoff
Yeah.
from that competitive environment on a day in and day out basis. Like that's a tough decision to make, right?
Gonna
But you
get
want to
paid.
get that degree, right?
Yeah,
You
get
want
the
to get
degree.
that degree, and then you want to go get paid, and it's like
Yeah.
players are finding a way to get the best of both worlds, and I love it. Like shout out to him for making a decision that's best for him. Unfortunately, that does hurt Princeton's
Yeah.
ceiling quite a bit, and they'll have to make up a lot of ground to get out of this low tier. Let's again the foundational tier. That's the foundation right
I was
there.
wondering when the
Although,
positivity was gonna happen.
yeah, you know me, Mr. Positivity. Uh, but yeah, two teams down there in the lowest tier, the foundational tier, we'll call it in this conference. We'll see if Princeton can do enough to get out, and if Columbia, nowhere to go but up. Really, I say that now. I hope they don't
Yeah.
not win
Right.
a game.
Winless.
Right,
The
but
jinx you heard it here.
yeah, let us know in the comments in the live chat if you think Columbia will win more than 3 conference games. We'd love to hear from you there in the live chat. And if you're watching later on, if you're not watching live, if you're watching later, we'd love to hear from you in the comments as well. So make sure you hop in there, shout us out, let us know you're hanging out with us. We've got like 1,551 subscribers the
I think
last time I
52.
checked.
Yeah.
What is it now?
I think it's 1552.
We got a crooked number on the end of that one there now. We got a 2. Let's shout that out. Let's go. Whoever pushed that button, let's go. 1,552 of your closest friends have already hit the subscribe button here on One and Done. Do the same and join the One and Done universe. We appreciate you. All right, let's hop over to the old mid tier, and we're going to lead it off with Dartmouth with the big green, not the mean green that our guy Darren likes so much. This is the big green of Dartmouth. And in year 9, Dave McLaughlin led the big green to their first winning Ivy League season, 8-6. Shout out to Coach McLaughlin. Good stuff there.
Good
Sparked
stuff
by
right
a
there.
dramatic shift in tempo, Mike. I love to watch teams. Doesn't matter if you give up 85, if you're scoring 81, I'll watch you play basketball any day of the week. And when you're 23rd nationally in tempo like Dartmouth was last year, you're going to have some games where you're just going to flat out have more possessions. You're going to outscore your opponents. But, you're going to have to stop people too. And they did do that. They were 104th nationally in defensive efficiency last year, Mike. So that really plays such a large role in what Coach McLaughlin does with this team. So they're getting up and down and they're playing good defense.
Like that.
Big steps forward there. And it's expected. We were looking, you mentioned earlier, Mike, how it's hard to do an Ivy League preview in early August because it's really hard to find rosters sometimes at this point in the year. Dartmouth is sort of in that. There's not an official roster that we've seen released yet, but Brandon Mitchell-Day, second team All Ivy League last year.
Yeah.
13.5 points, 7.5 boards for them. And then Connor Amundsen, 10 points and 3 dimes last year for them running the points. Again, a lot to like here for the Big Green, and assuming that these guys are back, which they will be at this point. They're not. Nobody's. I mean, I say that now, and it's early August, and who would be surprised if someone hopped into it? We've seen it work mysterious ways, closed or not. But it looks like Dartmouth is going to have a really good chance to be competitive again in this league, Mike.
Yeah, and you have to get it up for Coach McLaughlin. I mean, it's a tough place to win at. And first winning Ivy League season that he's had in those 9 years. So shout out to him. And then that's like the first one since in the 2000s that they've had, man. So it's an awesome job there. You like to see the momentum get created, and they're not the only big mascot in this conference. You got the Cornell Big Red at 9-5 with Coach John Jakes. And he basically carried the momentum from Coach Brian Earl in his first year. So, look, they led the nation in effective field goal percentage. That's pretty good. And they hovered near the KenPom top 100 for most of the year. So, really, really talented program that he took over and sustained success in year 1. However, you lose A.K. Okereke, who's going to Vanderbilt. Nazir Williams is out of eligibility. hey, look, you got some sharpshooters, right? You're number one in effective field goal percentage. You got some guys that can shoot. So Cooper Noard averaged 13 points, shot 42% from three. Jake Fegan, 11 points per game, shot 38% from three. Those guys are going to be able to score the basketball. I like this Valpo transfer that they got, man. He's a big man, Kaspar Sepp. It's going to give him some size, which is really what they needed and what they struggled with against Yale. So I really like what Cornell's going to be competitively. I think they're probably the team that has the best chance to sneak into the high tier here. Brown 6-8 last year. You got Coach Mike Martin. He's been consistent, man. But he's going to replace Keno Lilly Jr., who felt like he's been there forever. 1,900, nearly 2,000 career points out the door, man. So it's pretty tough to replace. And then, you got sophomore Jeremiah Jenkins and junior Malcolm Risby Jefferson, who are going to try to step in and fill that void that was left there by Lilly. In the front court, you got a duo here, AJ Lesbert. He averaged double figures here. Landon Lewis, 13.7 points per game, 6.8 rebounds per game. So pretty promising squad here, and they have some rim protection, which sometimes you don't find here in the Ivy League. But Nafamara Dabo averaged nearly 2 blocks per game, so it definitely could be a lead on the defensive end. They're kind of a sleeper team to watch. I don't know if they're going to have as much upside as Cornell has, but the two teams we'll see in the high tier, there's a reason why. But these are two teams to definitely keep a watch on, are Cornell and Brown. You got Penn. We got to mention Penn. Fran McCaffrey is back. We've talked about them. Obviously, a successful tenure at Iowa. I think he's going to be successful, especially he's going to get the offense going. And he's got a really good player coming back, Ethan Roberts. He's a really nice scoring guard. So that's a huge plus on the offensive end. And look, he's already recruiting at a high level. And this is a guy that recruited Keegan Murray, Luka Garza, like National Player of the Year type guys to Iowa. Just couldn't really do it in March. And now he gets a former top 55, like a high 4-star, 5-star on some services, TJ Power, who started at Duke, transferred to Virginia, and now is coming to Penn. So Torvik's definitely loving this team offensively. Like Fran McCaffrey teams, the defense is definitely a major red flag, and they're currently rated in the bottom 20 over there in defensive efficiency as a projection. So that's going to be a little tough. So they may be a team candidate to slide down a tier, but they have the upside to probably surprise some teams, but I don't know if it's enough to get up into the high tier, man.
No one wants to play Penn. Like, I know that they didn't win a ton of games last year, but with Fran McCaffrey on campus again, and like, talent beats talent beats talent. Okay. And if you have talent like these guys that Fran McCaffrey's gotten onto campus, you don't want to play them on a night. Somebody's getting hot. Who cares if they don't play defense? Like, they're going to score the basketball. I mean, this is a team that could finish above 500. Obviously, having them in the mid tier here, like the floor is 4-10 again.
Oh yeah,
the ceilings.
Yeah.
What?
8, 9, 10.
9-5.
Yeah, it's there.
Mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Reasonable. It's a reasonable thought that they could get that under Fran McCaffrey. We'll see if they can get it done. Penn, Brown, Cornell, and Dartmouth in the mid-tier. Hey, if they stop letting them put red dye in the sodas and the food and stuff, will Cornell have to change their mascot? Okay, we won't go over that right now. Here we go. Let us know what you think about that in the live chat. Hop in there. Oh, Corey's in there talking about the Big Green. Go Big Green. That's the movie. I had to look it up to jog my memory, and I was correct. It's the guy that played the great Hambino on The Sandlot. And he's on the cover. He's on the movie poster.
Yes.
And the soccer ball is hitting him like right in the crotch. And that's funny because he's a kid, right? And that's why I guess it makes it on the movie poster. But shout out to the what's it called? The Big Green is the movie. That's right. And shout out to Corey for that reference for sure. And what do we got? Out of Rhythm Fantasy hopping in. It's been a while since we've heard from Out of Rhythm.
Yeah.
Good to see you in there watching over on X. And then Babu, good to see Babu there. Breaking out the bottles when the
he knows what's up.
Extend the pinky and on the sip, and don't chug it either, man. Just take small, nice sips of the old brewskis tonight, Babu. Good to see you in the live chat as always. Join Babu, Out of Rhythm Fantasy, and Corey in the live chat. Would love to see you in there always. Push those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already as well. And if you're watching later on, not live, which of course, if you already hit the notification bell, you would have been hanging out with us by now because we're live, and that's what hoop heads do. but push all those buttons so you don't miss anything that we're doing. What's coming? I mean, we got next week. We got the MAAC, the MAC, the MEAC, everything. We got 3 on tap next week. MAC. They're all coming. All the conferences that start with M. Okay, all the conferences that have an M, an A, and a C in them. We're doing them next week. They're coming. So push the button so you don't miss any of them. Okay, and then we're going through all 31 conferences as well. All right. Without further ado, let's get to the high tier.
Here we go.
I'm gonna lead us off here with Yale, and I know you have your thoughts on Yale too. But this is our pick, Mike, and I don't really think it was particularly close. I mean, this is like a top 2 mid-major program in the country, right? Top 5 at worst.
At worst, yeah.
At worst.
We did a show.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, this is a top mid-major team in the country. James Jones is already etched into Ivy League history with 418 career wins to go along with 7 regular season titles and 4 tournament championships in the league. So, Bez and Bang, Ivy League Player of the Year, out the door, right? First team All Ivy wing, John Poulikaitis, out the door here. But I mean, this is a team and a program that is just built to win and win.
Yeah, they just
and
find
win
guys.
and win and win big.
Yeah, and they just get guys. And when we did our show, it was that about a month ago. We broke out the top 5 mid majors in there. Nick Townsend, I don't know why he's not at a Power 5 school. He has his reasons. That's awesome. As we saw, we just talked about Caden Pierce. Well, this guy is, going to be the preseason player of the year. Averaged 15, 7, and 4. Shot 48% from 3. I mean, he's just a rare, versatile weapon at the mid-major level. And you're going to pair him next to Samson Allerton, who averaged 8 points and blocked nearly 2 shots a game. You don't typically find that combination of bigs in these mid-majors. So that's obviously why we had them in our top 3 mid-major programs. And we consider mid-major like nothing too big leagues or even like the A10. Like we kind of save that stuff as the higher mids, right? So we're talking like, you're jumping down here into the, the MAC, MEAC, Ivy League, Horizon, all the ones that we've been doing. So I love what they have, man. They got Isaac Seliscar, who we talked about, Casey Simmons. These guys are on the wing. They've got length, experience. They're both 6'6". So like, this is going to be a big team. And this is why Texas A&M was the number 1 offensive rebounding team in the country last year. And like they were, obviously put up a fight against those guys. If they could have made a few more shots, obviously they would have won. The problem with Bez and Bang leaving is that point guard position, Jay. They're probably going to lean on a freshman, Courtney Wallace Jr. He's a high-level prospect, dominated the high school ranks. It's gonna be up to him, man. Obviously, they'll have some other guys that'll control the ball for them and do some things. But I think he's the guy with the highest upside for them to like pull some upsets when you get into the NCAA tournament. So they've got talent, they've got depth, they've got coaching, physicality. I think they're probably going to dominate again, and it's going to be a dangerous matchup. But here we go. Like, we can't discount Harvard, right? Like, Tommy Amaker has been there forever. It feels like these coaches in the Ivy just there forever, right? I think they're going to challenge, for the Ivy League crown. I mean, you got a trio of double-digit scorers returning. You got guard Chandler Piget, who averaged 13 a game. He's been around for a little while. Robert Hinton averaged 14.5 points per game, shot 36% from 3. And you got Thomas Beatties, who averaged 11 points per game, shot 38% from 3 as well. So they have a front court that can shoot it. Now, I question a little bit about their defense, but I think on the perimeter, they're going to be able to play some strong defense. They just don't have like that Samson Allerton in the middle. So the full potential obviously can get there if their health is there. And this forward, Luka Ace Nateski, like he only appeared in 5 games last season before a season-ending injury, but I think he's a guy just with his skill that could come in maybe even on both ends of the floor and make a difference and possibly get these guys to their ceiling. So love the talent, love the toughness, and I think they're going to make a serious run at this thing. But Jay, I think we both agree that Yale is, I mean, they got everything that they basically need after losing some top dogs.
Anybody in that mid tier that you feel like could hop up there and challenge? And maybe not. We agree that Yale is a cut above here, but obviously Harvard, that's a good roster and that's a great coach. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is there anybody in that mid tier that you think, if you had to pick one?
If I had to pick one, it would probably be Cornell because of their number one in effective field goal percentage. You're bringing back two of the best shooters in the conference. Like, they're adding a player from Valpo and Casper Sepp that is going to impact them on both ends of the floor, which is what they needed, because when I couldn't beat Yales, they couldn't stop them inside. That was the problem with a lot of schools. They could not stop that two-headed monster inside, and then you had Pattis on the wing, and then you had Bez and Bang as a Swiss Army knife at point. So, yeah, Yale's just got a ton of talent, man. But I would say out of the mid-tier, Cornell's probably the one that's most adept to maybe challenge Harvard for that second spot.
Love it. Going all the way back to the beginning of the show and the low tier, we started out with Columbia and Princeton down there, setting the foundation for the league. And in the mid-tier, Dartmouth, Cornell, Brown, and Penn with the returning Fran McCaffrey. And then high, so high, the Yale Bulldogs and the Harvard Crimson. Up there, the cream of the crop.
We did it, man.
In the Ivy League. We did it.
Welcome, Ivy League, to one and done, man.
We did it. Welcome to the show, Ivy League. It's long overdue. It's long overdue. Could I have an honorary degree, please? Maybe no. Okay. Maybe next year. Well, maybe if we get you in a couple, we'll show the commitment and get you in multiple years in a row, Ivy League. Okay, and then we can talk about doctorates and stuff like that. All right, good stuff. One more look at the live chat before. Okay, of course, Peanut Butter Posse. This is not that podcast. Peanut Butter Posse. However, we're still glad that you're here hanging out with us. No doubt about it. Our resident Kentucky fan, they're Big Blue Nation, our biggest of the Big Blue Nation supporters, Peanut Butter Posse, hanging out with us in the live chat. Good to see you. Thanks to Peanut Butter Posse, Out of Rhythm Fantasy, Babu, and our guy, the king of the single entry, Corey, for hopping in the live chat and hanging out with us. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to everyone in the one and done universe, as we like to call it around these parts, for checking us out here and checking our first ever Ivy League preview. Shout out to our guy, the Hall of Famer CC Hustle at The Real Napier on Twitter, X, pushing the buttons tonight behind the scenes. Shout out to at Fantasy Nav, Eric the Blue, the best fantasy follow this side of the Mississippi. Make sure you shout him out over on X as well. Shout out to my guy, El Capitan himself, the captain of the one and done ship, the steam in the engine, the coal that gets burned. That's my guy right there, the OG Money Mike. Nobody else I'd rather do this with. Shout out to everybody for hanging out with us. Shout out to you for joining us tonight. Shout out to Out of Rhythm Fantasy for the love right there in the live chat at the end of the show. We definitely appreciate that. Hop in the comments, hop in the live chat, do your part in the one and done universe. Mac, the Mac and the Miak, right? We're going with the goat, the sheep, and the Miak. That's like a donkey, right? Either way, the MAAC, the MAC, and the MEAC, we're just going to spell them all out for you all next week. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss us. Tell somebody you love them. Take care of yourself. My name is JAYHEINRICH. Come again. Peace.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drrodo.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.